guys, welcome back to the 2011 Collective. My name is Clay, and today, boys, we have a special video lined up for y'all. This is my one-on-one sit-down interview with the myth, the man, the legend himself, Mr. Jacob Gray, as he shares his story on how he got into aerospace manufacturing, his gun building methodology, and a wee bit of a teaser at the very end on the new gun that they're getting ready to launch in a couple months. Really excited to share that one with you. But I wanted to give you a few takeaways from the interview before I roll the footage. First is how truly inspirational Jake is as a human being. He's a man of Christ. He has just got high moral character, man. We need more dudes like Jake in this world. I promise you guys, this is awesome. You'll see in the video where he's talking about how Boeing, he basically got a cease and desist order from Boeing. And just to give you a little bit of clarity on that one, guys, it was not Jake's parts that were causing the ground, the planes to crash. What happens is the FAA does a complete investigation and they ground the entire fleet. So not only did they not fly the planes, but you stop building parts for the planes until everything is resolved. Well, just so happened that coincided with COVID, right? So he, after they cleared the investigation, COVID, all the airlines, as you guys know, took a big hit. No one was flying. So he had to figure out a way to overcome and still be able to keep his business alive. As he shares that story, boys, like it hit home with me, just truly inspirational. Again, that was kind of like my biggest takeaway of the interview. And then my second takeaway was how great of a team that they have from top to bottom. Obviously, Jake is setting the tone as the owner, but Todd Neese is the president of Jacob Gray Firearms. I found out me and Todd played football against each other when we were in Ohio. It was really cool to hear. He's just an awesome dude. Big shout out to Todd. And then I want to give probably the biggest thanks to Mr. Jay Duncan. He is the VP of marketing there at Jacob Gray Firearms. He was the one who actually invited me out to the facility to do the shop tour, to be part of the testing team that's coming out with this new launch. So a big thank you to Jay for just taking a chance on little old me. So again, just got a great team from top to bottom there at Jacob Gray. And then my last takeaway is going to be how much they care about us, right? They care about our feedback, boys. That's the reason why I don't get on my videos here and I don't badmouth companies. I just give them honest feedback on what I feel like that they need to do to refine their guns, right? I'm trying to level up these companies. I'm not trying to tear companies down, right? And so with that, one of the things that I told them in the video was, hey, when I got my hex in, they changed the pick rail spacing on my X300. So now it just flushes up to the trigger guard so my OCD doesn't get all crazy. And they changed that, boys. They listen to us, man. That is so important today, man. I promise you, this manufacturing piece that they do there, and they can make those changes pretty quick, as you'll see in the video. So again, boys, they have a awesome staff from top to bottom. They got some of the best customer service in the game, and I'm just truly privileged and honored to be able to share this one with you. If you like this type of content, I would like to do stuff like this in the future. So let me know down in the comments if it's something you'd like to see. And I hope you all enjoy. Peace, y'all. Hey guys, welcome back to the 2011 Collective. I'm Clay, and we have a special guest appearance on the channel today. The myth, the man, the legend himself, Mr. Jacob Gray. He invited me out here to his facility to do a tour, and I graciously requested to do an interview with him and kind of share his story and bring kind of a face to a name to Jacob Gray Firearms to our viewers and everybody out there on the World Wide Web. And so anyways, we'll go ahead and get started. Again, Jake, thank you for inviting me out to the facility and meeting the entire team from Todd to Jay to all the entire team members here. It has been an absolutely awesome experience, but enough about me. This is all about you. So tell the viewers a little bit about your background, how you came to get into building guns, and just kind of where we're at today with Jacob Gray.
So I was I would be considered what they call a third generation machinist. Grew up in a machine shop, was welding at 8-9 years old, running Bridgeports. Always got my hands dirty. College wasn't for me. So when I was younger, father would bring in cast beam frames and slides, and we would put them on the mill. We were 80%ers, and we built a 1911 once a year for Christmas.
Oh, that's cool. So a little family project action going on.
Little family project. So I really took to that. Fell in love with it. Of course, fast forward years later, still in the machining industry, running other people's machine shops. Right. And in 2010, I've been running another shop for about 12 years. I started my own shop, aerospace machine shop. Built it up. Was doing a lot of what they call flyaway parts for Boeing, Lockheed Martin, F-22s, F-35s, you name it, 787, 737. And we were doing what they call very tight tolerance, high-end parts, titanium, a lot of titanium. Right. We would cut anywhere between 20 and 30,000 pounds of titanium a year. So a lot of really tough machining. So during this time, I'm going to say somewhere around 2012, my father, who was dying of cancer, went to visit him back in Virginia. And he said, I'm really surprised with that fancy machine shop you had that you haven't built an awesome 1911. So left there, and I'm driving back, and I'm like, he might be onto something. So in 2012, I started tinkering around with it, and I got legal, of course, got my license and whatnot. So, but aerospace was booming, so it was very difficult for me to make any guns that, or make enough guns, I should say, to make a splash in the market. So I would make anywhere from 10 to 12 a year. They were higher end guns, right. And I would do it, on the weekends in my shop because I couldn't shut down my machine.
Right, little side hustle thing going.
A little side hustle. Right. So I was doing that, and I was pretty happy doing that. I liked it. It was a nice decompression from the everyday world. I could get in my gun room, and on the weekends I could run my slides and my frames, and I cut all my own stuff from billet. And so doing that on a weekend, you'd only get so much done, and so it was very tedious, to say the least. And I'd have 150, 200 hours in a gun.
Oh, wow.
And you can't charge for the amount of time you spend on a gun. It's kind of like furniture. It's a labor of love.
Right.
But I was good doing that. We were good. So aerospace was rolling along, and then right before COVID, about a year before COVID, Boeing's airplanes crashed. I don't know if you remember that.
Right.
That happened, and I had probably 11 employees. State-of-the-art shop. Received a phone call the next day from Boeing that said, "You're not making any more parts," and that immediately took about $3.5 million off my plate.
Tough hit, yeah.
Yeah, tough hit. So, I tell people when I was driving home that night, you don't even realize how far you've driven when you're staring out the windshield. Just what am I going to do? So I knew what I had to do, and so I told my wife and my daughter, who was in high school at the time, we're going to sell everything we have. I'm going to keep this company going, and we're going to do something different. So I did. Sold everything. The beautiful thing about assets, and I would tell this to any of your listeners, I view assets in two ways. One, it's an asset. You can sell it and make money.
Right.
But two, you can replace it.
Sure.
And that's how I viewed it. So I said, look, guys, we're going to sell everything we have, and one day I'm going to replace it. So we did. And I kept the company going. And I decided that I was going to expand more to the firearm side. We opened up the machine shop to other types of machining, in the industry, whether it be medical and a few other engineer company, or I should say aerospace companies. So, but it was nowhere near what we were doing. So I started building an AR-15 and an AR-9 and an AR-10 out of billet. We don't know any different at Jacob Gray. Yeah. And obviously making aerospace parts after all those years, my engineers, this was nothing for them.
Right.
They're used to holding 3/10 and a thou, over 16 inches.
Yeah. The aviation side of the house is, I'm 20 years Air Force, still civil service. It's the flight of safety issue on aircraft parts. It's a big deal. And
the paperwork involved, the AS9100 and so forth. So once we got that going, an idea hit me one night. I said, we're doing all of this in the aerospace industry. I'm going to do it in the gun industry. So basically, we took all of our processes, our aerospace processes, and just changed the nomenclature of the guns. We followed the same process as we would. And you've been here a few times already, and you can see when you walk downstairs from CNC machining, they're designing to machining to the quality room to CMM, in-process checking on the machines. All of that comes from the aerospace background. And there are a lot of other guys out there in the gun world that come from aerospace background. So some of this isn't new to the gun industry. It's just that it's what I had at my fingertips, and I had to pivot. It was either pivot or go under. And I wasn't going to do that. So those moves that I made, I didn't lay off a single employee during COVID.
That's awesome.
My family, I moved us into a rental home, which is tough when you've come from, living on 10 acres and life is good. So I did that, and we started moving some ARs in the firearm world, getting the Jacob Gray name out there besides the 10 or 12 people a year who bought my single stack 1911s. And started going to shows and just trying to get my name out there. And that was a few years ago was when I met Todd Neese. He came from the industry. And Todd and I, we call it our God moment. I'd already known Todd in the industry. I'd bought stuff from him, but on a more personal level, I didn't know him. And that show, we really bonded at that particular show a couple of years ago, and offered Todd a job. I said, look, I'm good at building guns, but this side of running the gun business, the sales side and the marketing, it's just not something that it's not something that I know how to do. Ironically, the show that we were at was in Texas, which is where Todd lives. When we went to that show, I had two of my employees with me, and we were pulling a trailer. We got to Dallas, Texas, and it was snowing, ice, one of the worst storms that Dallas had seen in a long time. Ice storms, that is. And I was probably 7 miles outside of Dallas, crawling along at 30 miles an hour, pulling this trailer, nervous, big old trailer. Come around a corner and down a hill, and there's an overpass, and underneath the overpass, there were at least 8 or 9 cars turned sideways wrecked. And I told the employees with me, I was like, y'all hold on, we're fixing to wreck. I never hit the brakes, and so I said, well, instead of hitting, I'm going to make an effort at it. So I just started trying to miss the cars. Well, fortunately, God was looking after me. The trailer would come around. I had a steel bumper on my truck. So the trailer would come around, and it would hit the steel bumper, and when it would hit the steel bumper, it would pivot me back the other way. And I went through 4 cars and never touched a car.
That's
my truck.
Somebody was looking out for you that day for sure. Yeah.
So I came out the other side. We didn't hit anything. And I look at my employees, and they're all white faced. I'm like, what are y'all upset about?
I had this, man, the whole time, right?
Yeah. So I took that night. We went and set up that night in bed. I'm like, there's a reason I didn't hit a car. By all accounts, if I could give you that visual, if you could see it on TV, if you saw it before, you go, there's no way you're going through that without crashing. And so I didn't know what it was. And a day later was after Todd and I talked for on and off for about 12, 14 hours. I offered him a job. I knew it was going to be tight, but I knew I needed help. And thankfully, Todd accepted. Todd believed in the story I was telling him. He believed in what we were doing. He believed in the product. He knew about us, obviously, because he had sold me products that he was selling in the past. And so I brought him on. He and I jumped on a plane immediately to Germany to go to Ewa. And that's a 10-hour plane ride. And so we got on the plane, and I told him when we got on the plane, I said, when we get off this plane, we're either going to hate each other or we're going to make this relationship work. And we both got on iPads. We had our iPads out, and we're just basically just doing pro formas. Just what can we do to expand the Jacob Gray brand? Because I had it started, but it takes a strong man to know when he needs help.
Right.
Us guys, we don't.
You got to know where your skills start and stop, boys. It's a real thing.
And you don't want to admit that you need help. We don't read instructions, and so. On the way out there, he had asked me, he was like, what do you got in the works? And I told him one project I had in the works, and I'm not going to say it in this video because if I do, some of your viewers and everybody else is going to get out. They're going to start screaming for it. But I told him that project, and he said, "No, what else do you have?" And I said, "I got a double stack 1911 that I'm almost done with." And he goes, "Let me get back to you on that." We got to Germany, and he ran into a buddy of his at Germany. And I'm not going to say the name, but they're big in the industry, on the distribution side.
Right.
And this gentleman said, "If you make a double stack 1911, it will sell. You need to do it." So we came back from Germany, and I did it. Took me I finished it, I should say. Took me about 4 months, and we produced a TWC-9. For me, the hardest part was, I said, how can I make a production gun the same way I'm making my single stacks that take 130, 140 hours? Can't do that on a production gun. So me and my engineers got together, and we figured out a way to use this great aerospace equipment that we have and make a gun that feels like every part of it is handmade. And there is some parts that are handmade, but for the most part, we are using the machines to our advantage. And so we produced a TWC-9. It wasn't for everybody. It had a smooth side, but it was our first gun. And I knew that people could put grip tape on it. They could change it up. They could change out the sight, the safety. They could upgrade their gun. But for our first gun, I thought it was pretty good. And sold a lot of guns that way. So then I came out with a different grip texture, the black. And then, of course, as you know, the hex. And so we've evolved, and we have a product that we're going to launch here in the next, I'm going to say 2.5 months. That's going to answer a lot of questions. It's going to make some people happy, I should say. And we really went deep on this particular gun to do as much as we could, almost everything in-house. When you're building a gun, a lot of times you have to buy parts, pins, things like that from other manufacturers. But I can tell you a lot of time, thought. This gun in my head has been in my head for years. But it takes a lot of money to produce a new product. That's one thing that your viewers may or may not know. It takes a lot of money to launch a new product. You got to buy material months ahead of time. Your processes, writing your processes, your programming, everything. It's months.
I've seen some of Jesse, his lead engineer. It's stuff is, guys, you'll see some B-roll footage of the manufacturing facility out here. One of the things I want you to brag on is your actual manufacturing process. I mean, you guys have some of the best high-end CNC machines in the business, and you guys are making all of the, outside of like the pins and the small parts, but you guys are making all of your own core components in this facility. And one of the things that, drew me to you guys as a brand was I geek out on the technical stuff and the manufacturing side of the house. And then when I found out that you guys are making your own stuff, I'm like, shut the front door. And, we get here to the facility, guys, and these machines are like 30 feet long. I mean, they're massive. And the cost on these things are expensive. So, like I talk about these grip modules, like it takes a long time to make these grips. The materials used, you've got, all these, $1 million plus machines, a lot of this stuff. That's what drives the cost on all of these 2011 builds. Outside of just, the old school hand fitting, and you guys are utilizing those machines, so you're not having to do as much handwork. Still handwork involved, but not nearly as much because you're running some world-class machines out here. So just brag on that a little bit, man. I geek out on this stuff. And,
I appreciate that. There's a lot of great gun makers out there. I have some idols out there myself. Les Baer, one of the greatest. I know Les very well. We've spoke quite a few times. Probably the second time I talked to Les Baer, I was telling him, he was asking me how I was making my guns, and I told him. And he said, if I was starting now, that's how I would do it. He said, but I started in the 70s, so I had to do, So handmade guns from start to finish are incredible weapons. And maybe one day if I retire, I might make 3 of those a month myself. But to support a company that was heavy in aerospace and wanted to keep the employees, didn't want to lose his business.
Right.
I'm not afraid to tell you or your viewers, listen, when you fight for something for 13 years, you don't just roll over.
Right.
You got to get up and keep going.
Right.
And thankfully I did. And so here we are. And so I'm going to use what I have at my fingertips. And so, yeah, we've got, from what we call cradle to grave, from the design, I can draw it up. I can show my engineer. We can 3D print it. Then after 3D printing, we make another change and we can 3D print until we're happy.
Right.
And then he starts programming it. And then it goes to the machine. There's fixturing that's got to be made because we do everything in the house.
Yeah.
We make our own fixtures in house. And so we're able to spin up a little bit faster than a lot of other companies, just because of that.
Right.
I'm a single owner, and so I'm able to say, hey, we're going to make that change now.
Right, and that's a big guys. Again, this is what when I do my gun reviews, and I was actually saying this on the Black. They've made some of the revisions to the guns that these guys value the feedback, right? I mean,
Yeah.
and that's the thing that I've appreciated from you and your team as well.
It's important.
Yeah,
it's very important because, like the first gun when we put it out, we read the reviews and we listen to people.
Right.
No one has said anything to me that's offended me. You can't offend me because it's still this was my dream,
Right.
but I'm going to adapt my dream for other people because I want them to buy them. So
Right.
we're going to listen. We listen to you. We
Right.
listen to the local guy that bought one, and so we slowly progressed. And this next model that's going to come out, I believe, will really impress the people because we really drilled down into the engineering side of it. A lot of testing, as you know, we've even had you here.
Yes, sir.
You've actually got to shoot the latest,
I have.
special things. So and so that helps us when we launch a new product, and it's teaching us a valuable lesson of just because the 18 or 20 people here at this facility think it's cool and nice, you may not.
Right.
And the public out there may not. So, but we take we take great care in how we handle everything in the shop. Okay, the materials are certified when they come in. They have certs with them. They're tracked. Here's a unique thing that your viewers may or may not know. When we machine a part here at Jacob Gray, whether it's aerospace or a gun part, we actually machine it. We follow the grain direction. So we relieve the stress out of the material the whole time we're cutting.
Oh wow.
Okay, so if the grain direction is this way,
Mm-hmm.
then we will come and we will cut and relieve the stress out of the metal. We'll come back and cut. We don't go back and forth.
Okay.
Okay, that's a little
Little pro tip. Yeah, little machinist, little action.
So metal has stress in it.
Right.
And if you don't do a good job of monitoring that stress, you can unclamp a part, and then the stress comes out of it. Now you're out of tolerance.
Right.
And so our tight tolerances, that's what we do. So we machine all of our parts to relieve the stress in the machine. In process checking after we cut an op, the machines are advanced enough, come down, we'll probe with a CMM probe,
Mm-hmm.
check it back to the dimensions that it was told. If it's not accurate, it will call up another tool and it'll run it again until it's accurate. On top of that, after every tool change that we do, and it would be interesting if you probably get some video for your viewers of a tool change to show you how awesome it is. But when you see the tool change in that amount of time, there's a camera that takes a picture of the cutter, and if it sees that the cutter is chipped or worn, it won't go to the next tool change, and it will go grab redundant tooling.
Oh wow!
A
And
new
swap
tool.
it out.
Swap it out,
Right.
and then it will run.
That's awesome.
So again, that's using the technology. That's
You don't have to have a person there to continuously
That's
monitor.
correct.
Yeah.
We have pallet changers and tombstones, and so we can run, lights out if we need to. We
Mhm.
ramp up production and so forth.
Right.
So using that technology in today's world is what I've chosen to do. A lot of designs on the board, a lot of future designs. I can't wait. Jacob Gray is here to stay. And for you personally and your viewers, Jacob Gray has been around since 2012.
Right. Yeah, that's why I've told some dudes this because they think he's new to the scene, and part of the reason why I wanted to do this interview with him was to actually tell him he didn't just start building guns
No.
like a couple years ago, guys. Like, he's been doing this for a while. He's got the experience. And the team here, I want to highlight your team as well, because from Todd, and I found out Todd's a Buckeye from Ohio, actually played high school football. Found that out when I met him. And of course, Jay Duncan, the VP there of marketing, for y'all.
Put a good group together.
Yeah, you guys got, and it's not just the senior leadership here. It's the Tanner and Levi and Jesse. Yeah. This is a faith-based company.
Yeah, we are.
One of the things that, this is the third time I've been here, that's drawn me to you guys, and I've talked to you at SHOT Show and at NRA in Atlanta, and it reminds me of a family, because I'm retired military, it kind of reminds me of that military family vibe. It's like a really tight unit. Like, I can say something bad about you, but let somebody else say something about you, like we're gonna go toe to toe.
You've done that. I appreciate
that. And I get that, kind of that vibe, with your team, and it's something that I appreciate, because the cohesiveness as a unit, as you guys are trying to put out these, high-end firearms to the people, it shows a labor of love. I can see it. Like I said, I tear all these guns apart, and I look, inside, and I can see. I saw Brandon working out on the bench out there. I got some B-roll footage of him, like, again, from cradle to grave, as he was saying.
It's culture. It is a culture.
Yeah.
I love my employees. And a lot of people way back when I had the problems, a lot of people would have given up and said, I'll just sell everything,
right,
take the money I made off the machines and whatnot, and live for a little while. I love my employees, and I can't do it without them.
right.
And if more companies in our country would take that approach, more things would be made in America.
Yes, sir.
It just love the employees, take care of them, and so they need me as bad as I need them.
Yeah. And I need you to make these awesome firearms, because I love collecting and shooting these guns, and it's one of my passions. I was, everybody gets geeked out about, like, I was actually over on the bench. Like, I like the gun building part. I love, I was out there talking with Jesse about the dimensions on, he was showing me his program and the 3D models and everything. That stuff fascinates me. I know that's not for everybody's cup of tea. Some people are just into
but it helps tell the story.
Yeah. And I think it's important to tell that, because a lot of times what I struggle with too on my channel, explaining to people, is what drives costs on these guns. It's the $1 million machine out there. That's whittling down the raw materials to make the slide and the frame and the grip.
But one of the things that gets forgotten, Clay, is billionaires can go buy all of these machines and set up a humongous shop. But if you don't have a Jesse and a Levi,
right,
a Brandon, Tanner, Jordan, Marty, Todd, Jay, Lizzie, if you don't have that component,
right,
and it's huge, I'm telling you, it's huge. If you don't have that, then those machines are just going to sit. Those guns, you've been down there, and maybe one day your viewers and other people will be able to see the great care we take when we build the gun from start to finish. Talking about the material being certified, it's on a cart, it's protected. After it's made, when it goes across the wall, it's put inside foam trays.
Yeah, you guys made those, right? Just to make sure that you protected all that.
So then when it goes out to get PVD or anodized, each individual part is put in its own foam tray.
Right.
It goes to the processor. They have to put it back in that tray. We don't bubble wrap because it's made for that. It's laser cut for that part. Right. When it comes back, it then gets put into a kit for the armorer, but each individual part has its own foam pocket.
Right.
After the gun is made and it gets shot in, it then gets taken apart and re-cleaned. It's put back into a foam tray before it goes out the door. So great care is taken. Again, that comes from the employees, the culture. You're laying down this gun here, the hex. You're laying down $35 $100 bills.
And expensive,
yeah. And what I did when we started doing this, I actually it wasn't real money, okay, but had some fake Monopoly money, and took $35 $100 bills, and I laid them out on the floor end to end. And I said, look at that. That's how much somebody's laying down for this gun. So remember that when these people buy a gun, they're spending their hard-earned money on this gun. Now, do we mess up? Yes. Do we have problems? Yes, like any other company.
Right.
But you probably saw our video with our plate screws.
Yeah.
We had to put out a video. I mean, we don't mind doing that because we are human, but we strive for perfection. Our lifetime warranty, just send it back to us. Customers love our customer service. When you call, you're going to get Rachel.
Yeah.
Rachel's going to take care of you. We're going to fix your gun. We're going to get it back to you, hopefully better than how you sent it to us. And we're as any company, we are getting better at our processes. In the future with Jacob Gray, you're going to see some pretty badass.
That's going to be. We're gonna lead into this last little bit for the interview. So what can you say? Is there anything you can tell folk about the future? Kind of next steps for y'all, without giving too much of the.
So my marketing guy doesn't. I tell you what, I won't say the name. How about that?
Okay. Well, Jay won't get us in trouble because Jay's going to see this, so we'll see.
Jay, but I will tell you that people have been screaming for a 5-inch comp gun.
Okay.
And with some, we just found out last week this gun we have 2 patents on this gun, parts of this gun. So if that tells you anything, we're going to try to shake up the industry a little bit.
I know what it is. I'm not allowed to say because I signed an NDA, so I don't want to get in trouble with the boss man over here. But I can just say that from what I know of it, I think, boys, get your bootstraps ready because I believe this one might be revolutionary.
Thank you.
And
there's parts on the gun that I've changed up the way the typical 1911 and 2011 is, and you'll have to take the gun apart to see it, but once you see it, it'll make sense. And so this is kind of, Todd calls it my Monet. This gun has been in my head for years. I finally have the funds and the resources to really put an incredible gun out there. For a deadly accurate gun.
Well, yeah, to be fair, all of your guns are pretty darn accurate.
We've got some just really cool stuff on this gun that I wish I could talk more about, but
do we know
embargo date?
Do we know?
I think it's fair. I think it's fair to say that we're trying for an August launch.
So we're not far away.
Well, we're not. I mean, you shot it.
I did. I'm trying to be quiet so Jay don't get mad at me.
No.
I want Todd and Jay beat me up, so I'm minding my P's and Q's.
No, we're not. Listen, we're not afraid to say, testing a gun. It shouldn't be just me testing it.
Right.
You were part of a group. We brought in 15 shooters from around the country.
Correct.
They all signed NDAs, and they're testing this gun, and you were one of them.
Yes, sir.
We value your opinion. You got on board. With Jacob Gray early on, you were what we call one of our disciples. You're part of the family, and it is a family atmosphere. Every customer that buys a Jacob Gray, when you call, you're going to talk to a human, and you are in our family.
Okay. I feel that way, boys. I mean,
there are some days where Rachel will give me the phone, and I'll take the calls, and I'll talk to people. And your viewers also need to know that I would say 2 to 3 days a week, I'm on the floor building guns myself with my employees.
That's awesome.
Todd is the president of the company, so he's running that side of it. We got Jay, the VP. They're handling that, so I'm able to get on the floor. So sometimes I'll put a little personal note.
Get a little hands dirty in there.
And I'll write a personal note sometimes to the customer.
That's awesome,
there's some customers that'll send their gun in and ask me personally to tune it. I love doing that. I love it. I'm never going to stop doing it.
And I did it myself, so you'll see it. So I have what I'm dubbing the limited edition Jacob Gray Black. So when we were here, on the tour a couple weeks ago, we were closing out the shop, and he goes, "Hey, does anybody want their guns clean?" And I was literally just joking. I was like, "Do you want anything?" And no one said anything. And then he was like, "Does anybody want anything done to their guns?" And I was like, "I want you to pour my black." And you looked away, and then you went, "Levi, take his slide." And he went. This is what I'm saying, boys. This manufacturing stuff. He took my slide. Levi took my slide down to the CNC machine, put it on the program, hooked it up, and he brought it back up here in 10 minutes.
Yep.
It was that quick. And I do appreciate that, dude, by the way. And again, I can't say enough great things about Jacob Gray and your team, and just the hospitality that you had, not just last week, but allowing me to come back out here today and visit. And because I know if you're talking to me, you're not building guns. And
well, you've been a proponent of Jacob Gray. You defend us. We're not perfect. We made the gun the way we felt like it should be made, and we made it with components that we felt like could get us into the market.
Right.
But we are advancing our technology, and we are advancing our materials.
Yes, you are. Oh man.
Yep. So your viewers, I hope they know we are going around. I just came back from Nashville, Tennessee last weekend.
Yes, sir.
We are doing a cross-country tour, if you will, where we're going to most of our dealers, and we're having Jacob Gray days, and I think I'll be at most of those. So if you follow us on Instagram, or if you follow Clay, he'll let you know. Hopefully we'll be in some of your viewers' hometowns.
Sure, yeah.
Come check out the gun. We're going to places that have ranges, so you'll be able to come and shoot as many times as you want to shoot the gun.
That's awesome.
Last week in Nashville, people came in. Some didn't even know about Jacob Gray. They shot it and they went outside and bought it.
Right.
So
and again, it's hard to get your hands on a lot of these guns, guys, because they're a lot of these guys aren't producing these aren't high volume guns.
No, we're not producing thousands.
Yeah,
I can assure you.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying. With that, being able to put hands on a lot of, I'm not as fortunate because of where I live in Alabama. We don't have really kind of high end gun shops. I mean, you'll have your Glocks and Rugers and all that fun stuff, but we don't have any of our FFLs that actually carry Jacob Gray in stock. So I actually got to go to Nashville. Like, I've been to Modern Warriors, or my other gun shop over there that I go to.
Modern Warriors is a good one.
High Caliber Weapons and Training up in Nashville is a good shop it's important to be able to get your hands on, to be able to shoot these guns and see how they
you're going to have to go to the dealers.
Yeah,
we are a dealer. We love our dealers. We love our stores.
Right.
We believe in them.
Yeah, and again, boys, I'm going to wrap this up so this man can get back to work and start building you guys some more awesome guns. Sir, thank you for all the time and effort, and we do really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
And boys, we'll catch you again on the next one. Cheers.
Okay.
Peace.